Now on to this week's topic, handling errors. Sometimes computer programs encounter runtime errors, and this is an error that occurs while your program is running, as opposed to a compile time error when you get an error while trying to compile your program. And this includes things like reading from a non-existent file, accessing an out-of-bounds array index, or parsing a non-numerical string to an integer, which are three things you guys have hopefully already seen. And so here's an example. I have a program called runtime error where I try to parse a string hello into an integer using parse int, and of course that's not going to work. So the program terminates, and then I get this message: exception in thread, number format exception for input string hello, and you get a bunch of other stuff. And this is called the stack trace, and it's usually printed along with the main error. So, exceptions. Exceptions are a built-in mechanism in a programming language to declare and respond to exceptional events. This is usually some unusual behavior that you don't want, and it's really up to the programmer to decide how to handle the exceptional event. There's no one right answer. For example, sometimes if your program detects an error, you want to just terminate the program. Other times when you're developing for, say, a web server where the web server should continue running continuously, then you probably don't want to terminate it when something unexpected occurs. So it's really up to the developer and the situation at hand. So Java throws an exception whenever an error is detected, and throwing is a programming term which means you execute the exception after error detection. Thrown exceptions will cause Java to terminate execution and print a stack trace, which is what we just saw. And exceptions can be handled by the program to prevent termination. So there's a couple of things to note about exceptions. First is that exceptions are objects, which we haven't gone over yet, but it's something to know and keep in mind. And exceptions can pass control from the point of error detection to a handler that can deal with the error. So for example, if we have functions f, g, and h, f calls g and g calls h, an exception that's thrown inside h can shift control from h back to f without executing the rest of h or g at all. And we'll see what that means in a little bit.